Okay, so what's going to happen is when you come in for computer applications, okay, we have some freshmen in here, we have some sophomores, and I think we may even have a junior new student into the district and so forth. So you may not know everyone, okay, so don't be afraid to introduce yourselves, get to know somebody that you may not already know. But what we try to do is we try to come in, get what we need to get done, so you don't have to worry about it outside of class. Okay, so if you come in here and choose not to use the class time, you're going to have homework. Okay, just because you don't use the class time doesn't mean that I change my expectations of you. Okay, so I try to give you all the time in the world to get your assignments done while you are physically here. Okay, but obviously that may not apply to everybody, depending upon the speed of work. Just a quick couple of little, hopefully we won't need them. If there is a fire or a fire drill, okay, we go out, we line up, we'll go out, I will lead, we stay as a class, okay, we'll go down the stairs and we'll head outside. Don't wander to other people's classes, okay, we need to stay as one unit, okay. If there's a lockdown, grab your stuff and we come up here to the front of the room so they can't see us from the door. I will close the blinds, okay, simple as that. Tornado, we would go down the stairs, and go across the hall to what is Mrs. Terpstra's room. So again, we don't need to worry too much about those, okay? Hopefully we won't need them. You are taking computer applications and it is your computer credit. So if you pass the class, take this class, you're done with your computer credit. That doesn't mean you can't take more, okay? And we've kind of adjusted some things. We have a video production class that some of you may already be signed up for second semester, okay? Some of you, usually if you're in one computer class, you're not in another your freshman year, but we have a programming class, okay? We have drones and aviation, and we have a hardware class. So we have a variety of computer classes that you can take, okay? This class is not typing, it's not keyboarding, okay? It is meant to give you some exposure to different software, different things that you can do in those softwares, okay? So you may have access to some software that maybe a friend of yours does not. Okay, so because you're in this class, you'll have some other programs, you'll have access to the printers that are in this room, okay, but your friends may not because they're not in a computer class, okay, but we do all sorts of things. We do some 3D designing, we do some robots with code. Okay, so if that kind of interest or sparks your interest, then maybe you sign up and take a programming class. Okay, so we have some variety of things that we do. Just a couple things. Come prepared, as I mentioned before. Okay, have something to write with you. Have a folder in case you have a handout that you need to keep track of for directions. Okay, we don't do a ton of handouts per se, but we will every once in a while, or you might choose to have a handout. Because some people work better with a hard copy. Okay, so have some place that you can store those. Always have your MacBook. Okay, there's not going to be a day that you're not on your computer applications. Bags, put them under the table. If you don't have a table partner, can you put them on the chair next to you? You can, but again, I don't want them in the walkway because we're gonna need our limited aisles when anybody gets up and so forth, okay? At the end of the hour, make sure you push your chairs in. If you have a table partner and you're sitting on the aisle seat, make sure you push your chair in, okay? That way the person inside can get around it without having to clean up after you. Cleaning up, make sure things are cleaned up, okay? If you have papers sitting around, don't leave them there. There's recycle bins, there's trash cans for if you have gum. I don't want gum under the tables, okay? It's there. If you come in and you feel like something needs to be disinfected, I can't promise you that every day I'm going to be able to do every single seat. Okay, today's kind of one of those crazy days, but so if you feel like it needs to be disinfected, let me know. We have the supplies, okay, and we can take care of that. When you get here tomorrow, if there are kids still piling out, then just find an X and just kind of wait. Okay, it shouldn't be like today. Okay, we are an even number room, so we leave at the bell. Okay, so they're trying to stagger. So we do leave at the bell. So hopefully by the time you would get here, they'd all be gone. Okay. I would like you to try to get into a habit. Disinfectant on your way in. Just quick little pump. There's one there, there's one right here, and then there is one in the back. So there's 3 places, so you shouldn't all have to be trying to stand at one hand sanitizer. I will say the ones in the purple, if you haven't used them, it's really, you get a lot. So you don't need to take a whole pump or whatever it might be. But then on the way out, do the same thing. Okay, so then just kind of try to get into that habit. Hoodies, I know the weather right now is probably not hoodie weather for most of you, but don't wear them up. We keep them down. If you have earbuds in, they are out. I should not have to ask you. Okay. There might be times when I say, okay, if you want to listen to your own music, go for it. Okay, but until that point in time, we don't have earbuds or headphones on. The bell is going to be your indicator to leave. Okay. And I try to give you a heads up, but don't start closing things and all of that 5 minutes before the bell. Okay, so just kind of be aware. I don't want to see cell phones. I don't want to hear cell phones. Okay, we have caddies that we used before, but we're not obviously using those. So if I hear it, it's mine. If I see it, it's mine. Okay, just wait till you get in the hallway and you'll be fine. Okay, I don't have mine on me, so same thing. Blue tape. Okay, I'm sure first period you saw some blue tape on the floor. You'll see blue tape in almost every classroom. It's just trying to get you to stay in certain areas, and me. So I have this blue line that gives me this much room to navigate without having to have the exposure. 6 feet, 1 inch. Okay, so when you're coming in, that's why if you're over on this side, use this aisle. Okay, those in the far back and over along this side, we'll use this aisle. Okay, I don't want you crossing between where the power poles are. There's blue tape on the floor for that, but there's really not much room there anyway. Okay, when the bell does ring, if we can, okay, those of you that don't have a table buddy, you're fine. You can leave. Those of you that have a table buddy and they're on the inside, if you're the aisle person, try to get out so then the next person can come out without having to maneuver around you. Okay? If you are a slow person and just you're always slower than anybody else putting stuff away, then just scoot up so that inside person can get around. Okay? We're going to try to do our best as much as we possibly can to stay distant because we want to be here. Okay? We don't want to have to experience what we did last year. Okay, some of you might have thought that was awesome and so forth, but we'd rather be in the classroom. Okay, so we're going to try to do as much as we can. You have external screens. We will connect to them, and we'll get to that hopefully today. But my goal is that they've been disinfected. Okay, and if you have a question, I will then look at your external screen, and that's maybe what I might, if I need to point to something or touch it, I don't have to worry about your monitor. Okay, so that's, I'm going to try to, that's going to be my visual for you. So, and we'll talk more about the external screens. If you have a question, raise your hand, be respectful. Okay, don't be afraid to try something different. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Just, okay, there's not a lot of us in here. So we should be able to get through some things without too much anxiety. If you're gone, if you know you're going to be gone, let me know. You might get home today and your mom says, oh, you have an appointment tomorrow morning. You're not going to be at school until 10 o'clock. Okay, send me an email. Let me know. Okay. or stop in the next day. Okay, but if you get up in the morning and you're like, nope, not going to school, you can send me an email. Okay, so then before you come back to class, so you miss the day, okay, what I'm going to be doing is recording lectures and all of that. So I'm recording this right now. I'll show you where you can access those. So again, if you're not here, okay, and you're coming back the next day, before you come back, go out and view the video and see what it is that we went through the day before that you weren't here for. That doesn't mean I expect you to do the homework or the assignment that we may have gotten started with. It just means you will then have an idea of what was covered. Okay? So there's no reason why when you come back, you wouldn't have an idea. Okay, so I'll show you where you can watch those for those of you that need to. And especially if you are home quarantined. Okay? Then that way you can watch the video, you can work on what you need to work on, and you can just stay right up with the class. So then when you come back, okay, that's if you're well enough. Okay, that's our goal, hopefully. Tardies, it's gonna be, just be consistent, meaning, okay, if you come in late, okay, and you're coming from the other end of the building, totally get it, I do, and I totally get with the one-ways, okay, and we'll kind of figure things out as the next week progresses, okay? It might be, where are you coming from? You tell me, and then we'll kind of figure some things out. Okay, you don't have lockers to stop at. Okay, if you need to go to the restroom, then maybe get up here and ask me, and they're just right across the hall. Okay, so tardies, communication, okay? If you're coming from a teacher, you needed extra help, ask them for a pass. And if they say, I'll email her, that's fine too. But I'm not going to be the one to reach out to the teacher. So don't come in and go, oh yeah, Mrs. Bailey asked you to just email her. Because what if there's 5 people coming in? Okay, so just have that, again, it's just communication. Turning in assignments, we will use Classroom, we will use Schoology. And sometimes we use email. Just to give you that exposure of different things. Okay, I'm not saying one's better than the other, but part of our class is to give you exposure to those different variety of apps and procedures and so forth, okay? We'll talk more about that. Okay, late work. I know this is a lot of dry stuff. This is probably the most important part of this whole thing. And we'll talk about this as assignments come. So what's gonna happen is, you'll have a due date of an assignment. Okay, you turn it in, great, no big deal. Potentially get 100%, okay? Then there's gonna be a second date, an extended due date. Okay, now this would be basically, you turn it in by that date, and your assignment possibility, the best grade was dropped to a C, equivalent to it. So let's say it's out of 10 points, then it would start at probably 8, right around there. Okay, and then after that extended due date, it automatically drops to 50%. And after 2 weeks, I don't want it. Now, obviously that will change if you're gone, okay? So we'll have that communication. I'll show you where you can find them when it's due, okay? That's kind of how it'll go. And as we get going into an assignment, we'll get into the swing of things. So that's probably the most important thing. If you need help outside of class, I'm here at 7:30. I know they don't want you in the building until 7:45, but I'm here. So you can come up if we need some help. And it might be because you were gone yesterday. Okay? You can email me. I may not get right back to you if it's in the evening. I will try, but that's not a guarantee. Okay? But a lot of times it's just a quick email and you're like, okay, I'm not sure, and I can respond and you can continue on. But it's out there, okay? Cheating, as I mentioned before, I try to give you as much time in class to get some things done. Now, if you are a little bit slower at working, okay, computers just are not your thing. Whatever it might be, okay? Don't think just get somebody else's assignment. A lot of times we don't have exact assignments, or if we do, they're only worth a few tiny little points, and then you do one on your own, and that's what's going to count more. So really, it's not worth a 0 for cheating because you just felt like you weren't going to get it done. You have plenty of time, okay? Phones, again, keep them put away. I don't want to see them. This is not study hall. So if you have something due third period, now is not the time for you to work on it. This is for our class time. Okay, now, if you get things done, you're like, yep, okay, I got that done. Yes. Then if you need to work on your science, work on your science. Okay, just, again, it goes back to being respectful of the time. Okay. All right, anybody not able to get into your email? Any issues with your email? I'm just kind of trying to get a gauge of where we're at. Marie, have you tried it? Did you get your little, or did you have that from freshman unity day? Or whenever? You're one of those. You're a junior. Okay, so suggestion, since we have this situation. Okay, some people put, I'm not saying this is the safest thing, but they take a picture of their card. Okay, put it on your phone. Some people take a picture of it and put it on the desktop of their computer. Okay, so then that way we always have it as a reference because you can go, well, I'm typing it incorrect. Well, you must not. Okay, so try to have at least a visual reference of that. I do not have your information. I do not know it, nor do I want to. Okay, so if you're having an issue, then we need to address it because this is what you use for Google Classroom. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and open up your Mac. So if you have it in your bag, dig it out. Or the other thing you can do between classes is go down to the office and Jessica, she's the one that sits in the middle of the three. She would be able to tell you your password. Okay. So whenever, because you're probably gonna need it.
Yeah.
Okay, so for this, Marie, don't worry about it because you won't be able to get in. But we're gonna get into Google Classroom. We're gonna just kind of walk through a few things with it. So don't get click happy. Otherwise, we'll just close them back up. So in Classroom, this is the code to join the class. So don't join a group, join a class. And then there'll be some things out there and we'll talk about them. Okay? But rather than me showing them all and then you are lost with certain things, we'll kind of walk through some things. Anybody struggling getting into the class? Is it a 1 or an L? Is it an L? Did you have an L or a 1? Try it. I know, I do it all the time. Is it a 1? It's an L. I know, but it's an L. And I just copy and paste. Does that work? Okay. Now, anybody else? Okay, so now, hopefully, so when you first get in the classroom, okay, hopefully it should look like what I have up. All right, we're going to pause for a moment, and this happens. If I could get to. Okay. Anyone else have struggle getting in here? Because this is where we're going to start most of the time. Okay. Across the top, you're going to see where it says stream. Okay, and this is where it comes up. You're not going to have a lot of information that shows up on your stream. Okay, I'm not going to just throw everything out there. So you're going to see where there's a link to the lesson plans and there's a link to Schoology. We'll get to that here in a minute. Okay. But what you see on the stream is just things that might need to stay there for a long period of time. It might be something that will disappear after we're done. Okay. If you go to classwork across the top, okay, you're going to see topics. Over along the left-hand side, you'll see those topics. I'm recording. You're not here. This is where you will come and find the video. I will name the video the date, and I will name it the topic. So some of you might use it when you're at home and you get stuck on something, and maybe we went through it in class. Well, you can use this as a reference. Okay. Some of you will go there because you were gone. Okay. So this is where you're going to find the video, the link to the video. I would say they may not be there in the morning. So if you're sitting at home and you're going, okay, I have second period computer class, video's not out there, and it's technically, 10, 11 o'clock, so it's after the class is done. Be patient. It will definitely be out there for sure by the end of the day. Okay. I do have planning my next period, third period, so hopefully I can get it out there for you. But okay, don't email me and go, it's not there. You're right, it may not be. Okay, but that's where you can go and see it. And then you're going to see the week. Okay, so if we do something this week between today, tomorrow, and Friday, it'll be listed under this week as the assignment. Okay, so again, you're gone. Okay, for whatever reason, you're gone for an extended time. You're going to be able to see your week. And this carries over, so if we have to close the school for a while, it'll be set up for you and you should be able to just follow along. Okay? Questions on that? So hopefully we'll kind of get things going here. Okay. if you're on the stream, take the link that says lesson plans. Okay, this is what you will see for every teacher. They're all the same. Okay, this is what you will link to in your English class. They're going to do something. Anybody have English first period? Nope. Okay. But this is what they're going to use for you guys when you create some things in English. But you can have access to it. It'll look all the same way. Okay. So if we look for today, okay, so if you go down to week 819, you're going to just kind of see a list of items that we have. Just looking to see what time we're at here. So we've done the seating chart. Okay, so tomorrow when you come in, this is where you're sitting. Okay. Syllabus, that was all the dry stuff. Cleaning procedure, we talked about pumping and disinfecting if we need to, or if you just feel more comfortable making sure that it's done. We have not gotten to the Mac operating system. There's our Google Classroom, just kind of the layout of the classroom. And we are on the lesson plans right now. And then we'll make sure that when you get through English over the next couple days, we'll have a link. Okay. So if we don't get to something, or maybe we get further than I thought, I will adjust this. Okay. So it may be inaccurate a little bit before class starts, but after you leave, I will go in and update it. Okay. Okay, then you're going to see in the Google Stream, there is a link to, if I get to the right class, that might help. Okay. There is a link to Schoology, which we'll take care of later. Don't worry about that. And then there's a link to the syllabus, which is just there. Okay, I don't expect you to go read it. It's basically what we just went through. Okay, but it's there for you to have access to it. Okay. Any questions? If there's something you're going, okay, I don't see that, it's not showing up for me, then please let me know. Okay, don't sit there with the deer in the headlight look like I don't know what she's talking about. Flag me down. Okay. And this year it's a little different because I'm kind of stuck up here, but I may be able to figure out a corner in the back so I can stand and look at your screens and go from there. Okay. Okay. Here's what I want to do. If you have your browsing window open and it's not maximized, please do so. Okay. So in the upper left-hand corner, the little green dot is your maximized. Who is not familiar with a Mac? If this is your first time sitting at a Mac, is this year? Okay. Okay. So it's a little bit different. There's things that you just have to get used to. So don't be afraid to go, okay, wait a minute. Okay. Because it's different than Windows, obviously. And some of you have Macs at home, or some of you have had an older brother or sister, and so you've kind of played around on theirs, or this is all you've ever known is Mac. Okay. But there's some differences. So don't be afraid to go, whoa, something's not the way it should be. Okay. So I do want you to have this window maximized. If you have other windows open, they don't need to be maximized. Okay. All right. We're just going to kind of go through a few things. So along the bottom, unless you moved it, is your dock. Okay. I have mine hiding. Okay. So find your dock. If it's on the side, that's fine. If you're going, I don't know how to move it, we'll get there. Just find your dock. Okay. And on there, find where it has system preferences. Okay. So it has the little, it's like a little gear. Other than Isaiah, who can't get into his computer at all. Anybody not able? Okay. Now, those of you that are familiar with Macs, don't be afraid to, if you know of a different method, a different way, just something different, let me know. Okay? But we're going to just kind of start going through some things that have to do with the Mac operating system. Okay? System preferences is where you go to change settings. There will be some settings that you're not allowed to change. Okay? But there are some in there that you can change, and some of them you might go, nope, not touching it. But this is all kind of your preferences. How do you want it to work? Okay? So first off, let's just go to General. Okay. Some of you may have already changed your appearance from light to dark. It's up to you. Does it matter? Does not matter. Mine is in dark, just because it's easier on my eyes. Totally your call. Okay? Below that accent color, your call. Basically, it's just kind of changing some subtle color instances. It's not going to change your whole screen or anything like that. Highlight colors, it's a default of what you want for highlighting and so forth. Your sidebar, what is the sidebar? Where is the sidebar? That's not the thing that's along the bottom, that's the dock. Okay, the sidebar is actually in your Finder. So if you go to your dock, find your Finder, which is the little blue and white half face. Okay, this area right here is your sidebar. So if you change the size, you'll see it change on your sidebar. Then they get bigger. Okay, it's up to you. Does not matter to me. Okay, if you don't have very good eyesight, then maybe change them to large. Okay. Then the next thing talks about your menu bar. Your menu bar is across the top of your screen. Okay. So where it says edit, view, and I am on my system preferences, so it says system preferences. Okay. If I click on my Finder, it now changes and it says Finder. Okay, so that's a big one some people have to get used to and just realize that's a little bit different than Windows. Windows, you always have the same thing for your whatever program you're in. It automatically shows it. Okay, but if you want to hide that, then you can put a check mark. And it'll disappear, and then you move your mouse up and it'll show up. Your call. Scroll bars, same thing. If you want them to always be there, then put a check. Choose always. If you're on a page that doesn't need scrolling, then leave it on automatic. Okay. The setting within the scroll bar, if you want to jump to the next page on that web page or wherever you're adding, if it's a computer, if it's a Word document, okay, set it to jump to the next page by clicking in your scroll bar, or do you want it to jump to where you're at? Sometimes you're like, I don't really, what's the difference? Well, then just leave it on the default. Okay. Default web browser, you either have Chrome or you have Safari. I will say a lot of people set it to Chrome just because sometimes with Google Drive and Classroom and so forth, working offline, this helps. Can you leave it on Safari? You can, doesn't matter. But just be aware, a lot of times people set it to Chrome because then if you're working offline, you don't have the internet, you lost internet connection or whatever, that usually allows you to still be able to work. Okay. And then down at the bottom, there's some other adjustments if you want to make them. I'm not going to read through every little thing. Okay. If you want to make sure that the computer asks you to make sure that you save things, then put a check mark in the first one. Otherwise, it won't ask you. Okay. If you don't want to close the windows when you quit an app, which I don't know why you wouldn't, but it'd still be running in the background. Okay. So there's that's your basic intro of some of the settings under General. Okay. So across the top on your General, I'm going to go to the little button that says Show All. And it takes you back to the main screen. All right, let's go to your desktop and screensaver. Can you change the screens or the desktop image? Yes, you can. As long as it's appropriate. Okay. So yes, you can. Choose picture. Okay. You can change the fit screen, fit it to the screen, fill the screen, stretch it out, whatever it might be. Okay. So yes. Appropriate for school. Go for it. Okay. Then you have your screensaver. Can you set a screensaver? Yes. Okay. How long do you want it to be set for? That's up to you. Okay. However you want to do it. A lot of times people don't get to the point of the screensaver, or some people don't like it. It's a nuisance thing. It's fine. Okay. I do want you to get to the screensaver tab across the top and go to where it says Hot Corner. And that's where we're going to pick up tomorrow. Okay. So the bell's going to be ringing shortly. You can just close your lids. If you want to close your system preferences, you can. Close your lids. Okay. Please, on the way out, use the aisles, aisle bodies. You go first. Okay. We're going to stay seated and wait. We're not hovering around. If you stand, I'm fine with you standing. Just stay at your chair. Okay. Please try to pump on your way out.
Jenna Hintz, Olivia Spurlick, and William Holdenbode, please come to the office. Jenna Hintz, Olivia Spurlick, William Holdenbode, and Catherine Gray. I feel this consequence really good. Also, we need Simone Kane, Douglas Inman, Jacob Fleer, Tegan Harstead, Lucas Lynch, and Elizabeth and Caleb Serpenot.
Then I would just say, yes, just check there. We'll just kind of see how things go. We're going to spend most of this week.
I mean, I have very, like, brothers married in, and then
so we're going to spend a lot of time next week. Go through the videos and conversations. Okay. So then at some point, we'll get into